Welcome to ilecture 8. In this ilecture, we'll discuss control, which is one of Fayol's 4 functions. In this ilecture, I'll relate the theory and concepts to several examples of businesses that operate internationally. As you know, the School of Management offers several units in international business. If you intend to live and work overseas in the future, you may want to enroll in these units to learn about international business. Control is an important issue facing every manager in every organization. For example, managers are continually looking for new ways to improve customer satisfaction, maintain relationships with suppliers, cut inventory costs, and develop the right product. Every organization therefore needs basic systems for allocating financial resources, developing human resources, analyzing financial performance, and evaluating their overall profitability. A lack of effective control can seriously damage an organization's health and threaten its future. As you will see from this video, an apparent lack of quality control at Toyota has had some very serious consequences.
Toyota has a problem. Federal highway safety officials said today the cause of those so-called runaway Toyotas, cars taking off on their own up to 100 miles an hour, was still under active investigation and not resolved as Toyota had suggested. Until today, Toyota had solely blamed the wrong size floor mats hitting the gas pedal or driver error. With an estimated 16 deaths connected to the problem through lawsuits and police reports, a number of Toyota owners have been coming forward to claim there's much more to it than floor mats. It's a kind of Toyota owners' rebellion, spurred on by what happened on this San Diego highway in August.
911 emergency, what are you reporting?
California Highway Patrol Officer Mark Saylor was in a 2009 Lexus with his wife, daughter, and brother-in-law when the car took off on him. This is what it looks like in a car going 50 miles an hour on that highway. This is what it looks like double to approximate the 100-mile-an-hour speed Saylor reached.
I'm sorry, you're stuck. We're in trouble. There's no brakes.
Saylor's brother-in-law, Chris Lestrella, called 911 for the back seat as the car raced out of control.
Okay, and you don't have the ability to, turn the vehicle off or anything?
We're approaching the intersection. Hold on, please.
All 4 people in the runaway car died after the Lexus hit a vehicle, crashed into an embankment, and burst into flames, an incident that made headlines around the world. In Tokyo, the president of Toyota, Akio Toyoda, formally apologized. "I offer my deepest condolences," he said. Toyota quickly said it had found the problem. The wrong-sized all-weather rubber floor mat in the car was pushed forward and caught the gas pedal like this, holding it down. The company ordered a huge floor mat recall for 3.8 million cars. The federal government urged consumers to follow Toyota's recommendation. "I can't begin to express my remorse," said the Toyota president. What he did not say, however, but what people at his company know, is that there have been plenty of accidents and incidents involving runaway Toyotas, which the drivers insist had nothing to do with floor mats.
I'm absolutely certain that in my situation, it was not the floor mats.
Outside Denver, on Interstate 70, Elizabeth James' Toyota Prius suddenly shot up to 90 miles an hour and would not stop, even though she says her foot had not even been on the accelerator.
I kept going faster and faster, and all of a sudden, I thought my foot was pressing on the brake super, super hard, and I wasn't slowing down.
She drove her Prius into a field and crashed it into a river to finally stop.
I kept saying that to myself, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive.
In Portland, Oregon, Mariana Eisner's Lexus crashed into a truck after it shot out of control on the freeway in September.
I did have a fleeting thought that this may be the day I die.
She says she had already heard about the floor mat problem and made a point of checking hers.
The mat was nowhere near the accelerator.
In the California Mojave Desert, Paul and Saskia McLean had just passed a car when they say their Toyota Highlander suddenly surged to almost 100 miles an hour. Their car did not have the floor mat involved in the recall. And you're certain there was nothing underneath the gas pedal?
I looked.
Yeah.
I bent over and looked. No, there was nothing.
On their way to a camping weekend with their 2 children in the back seat, the McLeans say they would have been killed if they had been anywhere other than the middle of the desert.
We got lucky, but some people did not get lucky.
There is clearly an uprising amongst Toyota and Lexus owners. This problem can't be explained solely by floor mats.
Auto safety analyst Sean Kay, who works with government regulators, plaintiffs' lawyers, and the auto industry, says he has tracked more than 2,000 reports of runaway Toyotas over the last 10 years, through lawsuits, police reports, and complaints to the federal government.
The data clearly tells us there's something going on. There's no question the numbers in Toyota today are showing up at greater numbers than other manufacturers.
While Toyota continues to blame only the floor mats or driver error, there is growing suspicion by some owners about a glitch of some kind in the electronic computer control system used in Toyotas. What most drivers may not know is that the gas pedal in Toyotas and most cars now no longer directly feeds gas to the engine, but instead simply sends an electronic signal to the car's computer.
It's no longer a mechanical link between your foot and the engine anymore.
Safety analysts say the number of complaints about runaway Toyotas took off after 2002, the same year the company went to an all-computer and wire system with no mechanical fallback.
Are floor mats causing some of the problem? Sure, they probably are. But the electronics, you can't discount the electronics given all of the things that are going on, given all of the reports, given all of the evidence.
That's what the driver of this Toyota Camry thinks is what happened to him as his car took off and plunged over a 100-foot cliff into the Pacific Ocean, making big news in Central California.
And all of us having car surged with force, and I was thrown back to the seat.
Bulentizal barely survived, but his wife of 46 years did not, as the car plunged into the water.
I heard my wife, then I don't remember anything after that.
Seriously injured and now suing Toyota, Izal and his son and lawyers showed us what was left of his 2005 Camry, which didn't even have the rubber all-weather floor mats Toyota has blamed in the other cases. The police surmised, and Toyota claims, Izal mistakenly pushed the gas pedal.
Sir, I did not. My foot was absolutely positively on the brake.
Izal's lawyer, Don Slatto, points to the tiny computer Toyota uses for most of its models, from Camry to Lexus.
We've all experienced computer glitches and using our own personal computers where something just happens, we don't know why.
The lawyer discovered Toyota had quietly alerted dealers about a computer glitch in its earlier 2002 and 2003 Camrys, which Toyota now says was only a slight and momentary problem which was easily resolved with reprogramming.
They had a problem where at speeds between 38 and 42 miles per hour in a light pedal application that they make it surging.
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, has done 6 separate investigations of acceleration surges in Toyotas since 2003, and it says it found no defect in Toyota's electronics.
Teasing out that problem could be an extraordinarily difficult issue for anybody. Not just the manufacturer, but the government or anybody else who's looking at this problem.
Toyota officials would not agree to be interviewed, but they posted this statement online from executive Bob Daly, who denied any electronic or other defect.
It's important to note that no defect exists in vehicles in which the driver's side floor mat is compatible with the vehicle and properly secured.
Federal officials said today that Daly and Toyota were wrong to say that Toyota had been given any such clean bill of health, that the matter is still not closed, despite what Toyota has said. Elizabeth James and her husband Ted once thought the world of Toyota, but after a company inspector examined their car, and Toyota suggested it might be bad brakes, the Jameses went on the offensive.
And of course, at that point, I was just infuriated because we all know that brakes can't cause a car to speed up.
Now the Jameses have joined other Toyota owners in a kind of online YouTube campaign, accusing Toyota of gross negligence and cover-up, especially since the accident in San Diego.
I just winced, and my first thought was my worst nightmare is coming true, that Toyota ignored us, they blew off the problem, and that now people have died because of it.
Federal officials say they are looking most closely now at possible defects in the floor design of Toyotas or in problems with the gas pedal, as the Los Angeles Times first reported. Whatever the cause, it remains a very dangerous situation that may happen only rarely, but when it does, requires a driver to act quickly. So we asked a test driver for Consumer Reports to demonstrate what to do in just such an emergency.
If this ever happens to you, here's what you need to do. Put your foot on the brake hard. Put the car to neutral, the car will stop, the engine will rev. Once you're stopped, turn off the car and you're safe.
Our safety expert also said drivers should not pump their brakes because they'll become ineffective, and advised not to turn off the car because that cuts off both power steering and power brakes. In the meantime, the investigation of the cause of these runaway Toyotas continues in earnest.
So as you can see, very, very serious issues if you have lack of quality control. Let's move on. Let's look more closely at what organizational control is all about. Organizational control can be described as the systematic process through which managers regulate organizational activities to make them consistent with the expectations established in plans, targets, and standards of performance. Managers have a duty, a responsibility, to keep their organizations on track despite events and change the organization to respond to opportunities and threats. Now, to effectively control an organization, managers need to constantly monitor and evaluate the firm's inputs and outputs. Managers also require information about performance standards, actual performance, as well as actions taken to correct deviations from the standard. As you saw earlier from the Toyota video, any deviation from the standard, from the norm, can have very, very serious consequences. Let's talk about control systems. Control systems are formal, target-setting, monitoring, evaluation, and feedback systems that provide managers with information about how well the organization's strategy and structure are working. Effective control systems alert managers when something is wrong. One could argue that the control systems at the Japanese car maker Toyota was not working as effectively, as cars were apparently being produced with defects in them. Alright guys, this is a very important slide as it describes the 3 control and information systems that managers can adopt to provide them with feedback to see if their organization's strategy and structure are working efficiently and effectively. The first is the feed-forward control system that aims to anticipate problems before they arise. The second, as you can see, is the concurrent control system that gives managers immediate feedback of how efficiently inputs are being transformed into outputs. And the third is the feedback control system that provides information about customers' reactions so that corrective action can be taken as necessary. Let's look at the feed-forward control in more detail. Feed-forward control focuses on human, material, and financial resources that flow into the organization. The purpose is to ensure that input quality is sufficiently high to prevent problems when the organization performs its tasks. Feed-forward control is anticipatory and attempts to identify and prevent deviations before they occur. Concurrent control systems monitors ongoing employee activities to ensure that they are consistent with quality and other standards. Concurrent control assesses current work activities. It relies on performance standards and includes rules and regulations for guiding employee tasks and behaviors. Concurrent control is designed to ensure employee work activities produce the correct results. Concurrent control is at the heart of total quality management systems programs. Let's move on and talk about feedback controls. Feedback control focuses on the organization's outputs, particularly the quality of the end product or service. Feedback control provides information about customers' reactions to the goods and services so that corrective action can be taken if necessary. For example, a feedback control system that monitors the number of customer returns alerts managers when defective products are being produced.